When you got the email asking you to come to Athens to talk about your reporting, what was like your first reaction to hearing that news?
To be honest, I didn't believe it. I started following pro-Palestinian protests on campus like the day after October 7th, but I had already been involved with so many pro-Palestinian students just because I was seeking to find a community there. And honestly, at the beginning, it felt like people expected a story but weren't interested to follow it through.
How do you feel about the encampment?
It wasn't having that much of a splash.
My name is Isabella Ramírez. I'm a senior at Columbia University studying sociology, and I'm also the editor-in-chief and president of the Columbia Daily Spectator, our undergraduate newspaper.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Throughout this entire storyline, we saw our place as we would have always been there, no matter how big the story was outside of this campus. We've always taken ourselves incredibly seriously, like a professional newsroom, but to be competing head to head, not only with, legacy newspapers and publications that have much more history and much more, what was most important, resources than we did. It was really, honestly, challenging to understand how we can kind of carve out that space for ourselves as a student newsroom and also harness the very specific strengths that we had.
The story wasn't the students themselves, it was what they were protesting about, and it was important for us to understand that as student reporters. The reason student journalists got the big, fame that they got was because they knew the story well, not just because they were there at the right time, because they cared about telling the truth rather than just coming for the headline.
Isabella, thank you so much for being here. I'm really, really appreciative of all the reporting you've done.
To see sort of very tangibly an international audience take interest in what I felt like was this very small area of New York City and this very specific event here was just so incredible to feel and very surreal in a lot of senses. And I was so excited at the opportunity to kind of elevate this story to something not even just larger as in other people should care beyond our campus or beyond the United States, but the idea that it can show us a lot about the industry, about journalism, about the directions that people are moving in.
Being Palestinian, since October, I had been reporting, especially on Columbia's campus, about student activism. Journalism is not just like a hat that fits everything. For me, at least, I felt like there was no space for me in the field, and that the industry is failing me. But after the encampment, it really showed me that there's a future for journalism where we do important work and we do it right. And the right people make all the difference, and you have to fight to make space for yourself. And that sometimes includes saying no to amazing opportunities because they're not doing the journalism that you support.